everybody, we're back in my craft room at Random Acts of Crafting, and welcome everyone. We are up to, I believe, number 9 in our Christmas card series. So today I thought what I would do is I would bring you, again, this is an A2 size card. This paper, I love the little polka dot in with this interesting kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a mixed colors of burgundies and reds, but it's got a lot of interest, I think. The inside of it, if you remember, I cut out, fussy cut, a beautiful wreath, a bow with a wreath on it for one of the cards that I did recently. But I'm going to actually cover the inside, so this is not going to show once we finish the card. But I thought this was very, very pretty, and I wanted to mat this in a pretty green, but I didn't have a green that had a pattern on it like I wanted. I wanted something with the snowflakes, and it's unusual to find green snowflakes on a green background. So what I did, using the Fancy Flurries, and this is one of May's stamp sets, Fancy Flurries, and this is the larger stamp set. These are 6x8. I believe they're 6x8. Yeah, right about 6x8. And I used several different ones of these, and I stamped it using the VersaFine Claire Rainforest, and my background paper is Cabbage. Now I went ahead and did this because I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but I loved it. Once I got it together, I thought this was exactly what I was looking for, so I just went ahead and went with it. Now, y'all seem to love my layered cards, so I am going to layer up this particular card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer this piece, and this was cut out of a framelit. Oh, I didn't pull that one, but this was just a nestable, I believe it was a Brutus Monroe, no, a Doris. And I'm not even sure what this shape is called, but it's just one of their nestables, and you could use any type of shape that's kind of sort of in a square. You could even use a square if you wanted to. And then what I did is I cut another piece of paper, and I got some red with some snowflakes, because I kind of wanted to tie the snowflakes in with the snowflakes here, but I definitely wanted some red and white. And this is 4 3/4 by 2 1/4, and this is going to nest right in the middle of this piece, and once we glue everything down it won't be moving quite as much, but I wanted to show you what I did. Then I cut another white strip, and this one is about 1 1/2, so about 1 1/2, and we're going to actually run it from the top of the mat to the bottom of the mat, and it is going to be in the middle of this piece. And then I got this diagonal piece because I wanted something that would tie in the green and the reds and the white, and this looked like it would tie in. And what I did, I just went through some of my Christmas papers and pulled out what I thought would work. The next thing that I used is I used my Spellbinders Classy Scallop Circles, and I used the third one from the largest, and I cut this out of the same paper that I made the base of the card with, and this is going to live right on the front of this card like so. And then I cut a circle just using these nestable circles, and I don't even know what brand these are. I've had these, I guess, since my early days of paper crafting, so I don't know. At that point I wasn't saving names on anything because I had no idea that I would be doing a YouTube channel and need the names, but any circle dies, and this is diameter is about 2 1/2, so it's a diameter of 2 1/2, and I'm going to nestle that right in the middle of that, and we're going to stamp a sentiment on that. And this is going to be our Christmas card, but we are going to use a piece of ribbon, and I am going to cut a piece that is about 9 inches. I think 9 inches will give us just about what we need. So I'm just going to cut that off, and this is a beautiful red. It's a dark red with a gold thread through it, and I believe I might have gotten this either at Michael's or I don't know if I got it at Michael's or Joann's, but one of the two, I'm pretty sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this down the middle, right over top of that, underneath this. So once we get to this, I'm going to lay this over to the side and lay my ribbon under it, so I'll remember when I get all my other pieces glued down, then we'll work on that. So let's just go ahead and pick these pieces up. I'm going to lay them over here upside down, and then let's go ahead and start putting our card together. Now if you notice, I stamped over here and this one didn't work, so I just turned my paper over and redid it, and as you can see, it turned out very, very pretty. And I think I want it to go this way. Alright, let's get our glue, and we are just going to really put a lot of glue around our edges. Not too much, but enough so we get a good adhesion. And let's just coat the paper pretty good back and forth. And again, this green that I'm using, I can't remember if I told you, but it is the Brutus Monroe in the color Cabbage. And it's one of the lighter greens. I think the Jurassic is a darker green, but I chose this color because I wanted that pine cone, or rainforest, I'm sorry, the rainforest ink to really show good on this, and I think it did. I think it showed up beautifully. So now this piece needs to go down, and we want to center this in the middle, and I'm not going to measure. If you want to, you can measure up from the bottom, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put some glue on it and put it down. And I hope y'all didn't mind me cutting the pieces ahead of time. The only reason I did it, sometimes my videos can get a little long, and I know that we're busy this time of the year. And if you basically can see the card design, you can pretty much make this card. So here's our pretty little snowflake, and this one I want the same thing. I want to center it right in the middle, but I'm just going to put some, and like I said, these papers I just pulled out of some past Christmas papers and scraps that I had, so you can do the same thing. We all have those packs of paper from last year's Christmas or the year before, and just, you know, just go through and see what you got. And I'm always a firm believer to, you know, to use what you have, because that's what makes our card making interesting, is just to work with what you got and, you know, make it work. So I'm going to put, I think I'm going to do this one right here. And then this is going to go down right about there. Now next week, I promise, I'm going to do a card that's not quite as layered. But since everybody seemed like they enjoyed the layered cards, I thought I'll do one more. And it seems like everybody really loves the layers. So, and I think it makes a card look very rich. So that was another reason for me wanting to do another layered card. So I'm just putting this right in the middle and press it down. Now here's where we want to put our ribbon. And you know what I did? I glued this down before I put my ribbon on, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how to fix the boo-boos. Y'all like my boo-boos when I leave them in. So I'm going to use this little tool, and this is actually my Cricut spatula, and I'm just going to go up underneath there enough so that I can tuck that ribbon under. And what I'm going to do is just tuck that in just like that. We're going to put some glue on it, or actually just go under here and stick some glue, and then decide which part of our ribbon we want to be the right side, and I think this is. And we are going to stick this right in there, just like that. Get it down in there, and then just mash it down really, really tight while you're pulling it. And we're also going to put glue down underneath it, so that if it does come up, it will not be a big deal. So let's run a bead of glue right down the middle of our paper. just like that. And then we're going to just press this ribbon right into that glue. It is coming through the ribbon just a little bit, but that's okay because this will dry clear. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to pry under here just a hair, and that came up really good. So we're going to cut this off about that much, and then I am going to use this spatula to see if we can tuck that ribbon in right underneath there, just like that. That worked out really well. So now we have this piece of ribbon on here, and we are going to put down our scalloped circle, just like that, right in the middle. And I think for this, I want to put this up on some dimensional tape. So I'm going to pull out my foam tape, and I want to cut off a couple of pieces about this big so that we can get maybe even 3, maybe one not quite as long, and then one more. And this one doesn't need to be as long, so we're going to use that piece to our advantage, and we're going to put it on the sides. That's the good thing about your foam tape. You can cut it down and make it fit wherever you need it. That's why I love this foam tape. And what I'm using is the Scotch 3M two-sided foam tape. And see how well that works? And then we got this little piece, and I believe we can squeeze that right in there. And that's going to work really good, and we didn't waste any of that. So let's go ahead and pull off our backers. Even our little pieces. Before I put this down, I do need to put a little embellishments that's going to live under this. And I'm glad I thought about that before I stuck that down. So I've used my EK Success branch punch, and I punched out some greens, 2 different shades of green. One is a foil and one is just a flat green. And I've got 2 of this beautiful glimmer. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a beautiful white glimmer paper. So we are going to put a couple of these going up and a couple going down. About like that. I don't know that I want to use those. I think I just want to use these. Let's see. These are so pretty. Yep, I think I want it to be just like that. And I don't think we're even going to need to glue those down, although I am going to throw a little bit of glue right in here just to catch them. And right in here. And then when we bring this down, it is going to catch into that, and it's going to be beautiful. I think I'm going to love this. And there we go. And those little pieces are just sticking out to just give it a little bit of interest. Let's pull that up. That needs a piece of foam right under the edge because it's sitting on that ribbon. So let's put another little piece of foam under that side. We might need to do another piece under the other side too. This time I'm going to go ahead and pull the sticky off because I'm going to push it down under it. Right like that. And let's see if we need a piece over here. I think we're good right there. Okay. Now that gives us a lot of dimension on the card. Now all we have to do is find us a sentiment that we want to put on our little round piece. So I'm going to look and see, and I remember a stamp set that had round sentiments, and again it was a Nene stamp set. I do have quite a few of her stamp sets, so that's the reason I use them quite often. And she had one called Ornamental, let's see. This one right here, the Ornamental Greetings, and I think this is so pretty because they're round. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And we also have that little, we're going to stamp this and then put that sentiment in it. I think that's going to be gorgeous. So let's pull the ornament off. And I'm going to grab my onyx black and a stamp block. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up really good. I might stamp this off on something else just to make sure we're going to get a good stamp. Oh yeah, that's stamping really pretty, so I think this is going to be gorgeous. So I'm going to bring that over, and I want to make sure I center it without getting my hand in the ink. So let's see if we can center that about there. And I think that's stamped off really pretty. So cleaning my stamp. I know how I am about making sure my stamps are nice and clean. One of my little idiosyncrasies, you might say. Now I want to color that bow, but I'm going to let that ink dry before I do that. And I think We Wish You a Merry Christmas. I think that would be a pretty sentiment to put in the middle of that one. And I want to do this in a red ink. So again, I'm going to pull out my Versaclair, and I'm going to use the Glamerous, which is the deepest red. And let's get another stamp block. And I'm going to ink it up really good. I'll move that out of my way because I don't need anything that's going to bump me and cause me to misstamp this. So, Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. I love that. I'm going to come down just a little bit because I want to do that bow. I'm going to color that in red. Oops. Oh, isn't that pretty? I love the way that turned out. So cute. So let's cover our ink up and let me rub my stamp. I know that red ink seems like it stains worse than any other color. The good thing is I have used red ink on this before, so it's got red ink already on it. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to grab a red, and I'm just going to use the tongue, but you know what, I'm going to take a darker red because I really want it to match the red in the card. So let's, yeah, I think I like that color. So I'm just going to go in here and just color a little bit. Yeah, I would use my alcohol markers on this, but I use VersaFine ink, so I don't want to use my alcohol markers because it will cause this VersaFine ink to bleed and run, and that's not what I want, so I'm using a Tombow. Just like that. Now I want the middle of this to be darker, so I'm going to probably concentrate a little bit more ink through there. Okay, I think that's very pretty. I think it really adds a lot to the sentiment, and I think that's going to look gorgeous sitting on top of this. Oh yeah, I really do like that. I am glad that I chose that. I'm glad that this little ornament was one that just really worked for this card. So I am going to, you know what, I'm almost tempted to fussy cut this because it is that pretty. I think I am. I think I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to fussy cut this ornament out, and then we're just going to stick it directly down onto that little circle, that scalloped circle. So I'm just going to go in just barely. I don't want to cut into that black line. So I'm just going to go around like so. And come back out like this. And cut that off. And I'm going to come in at an angle. And I'm going to cut into that bow. And then back out. I had a little smear of ink right there at the top, and this is actually going to get rid of that smear. And you know, when you're fussy cutting, just the main thing is just take your time. You're not running a race. You don't have to do this fast. Just take your time, let your scissors work for you, not against you. And I'm going to come down, I'll come back up and cut that little piece off that's in between the bow. And then this is going to end up looking like an ornament. And you know what? My design on my card changed just that quick. So you never know when you're crafting how many times you're going to want to change something out, make it a little bit different. You know, just stamping this image let me know that I wanted to make it a little different than what I had previously thought I wanted to do. Okay. And I'm going to take a light blue and I'm going to color this top, just the top of that ornament. just a little bit blue right there just to help that pop. So now I do want to pop this up. So I think what I'm going to do is grab some more of my dimensional foam tape, and I'm going to just cut off a piece. I'm going to cut it in half, right about in half. And I'm going to put a piece right up here, kind of at a diagonal, and then I can cut this piece in two. Put a piece there and a piece right there, and I think that will pop this up just like we want it to be. And I think this is going to look so pretty when we're done. And okay, now we're going to put this right in the middle, just like that. I really love the way this card has come together. It's so pretty. Oh no, did I do it right? I did. I thought, oh no, I did it the wrong way. But you know, you could do this card this way if you just turned this ornament around. Also, I'm going to do one other thing, and I'm going to be really brave doing this because you should do it from the back. But I'm noticing that I didn't get this cut all the way around. So I'm going to take my black marker, very, very carefully. I'm going to go around this edge, just knocking that white back a little bit, and maybe right here on the bow. And maybe a little bit right here. There, that looks a lot better, and I think that makes a difference in the way the card looks. Now the only thing we need to do is do the inside, and I am basically going to cover it with some white paper, and we're going to stamp just a pretty Christmas sentiment on the inside. So I'm going to grab two pieces of white paper, and I want it to cover the entire inside of this paper. Well, I might mat it just a little bit, but we are going to need it to be 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. So maybe 4 by 5 1/4. Yeah, or maybe an 1/8. We'll do 5 1/4 by 4 1/8. So let me grab a piece of white cardstock. And we will mat that inside so it's going to look pretty. Let me get this stuff out of my way. I don't know if y'all make as big a mess as I do, but I really do make a mess when I'm crafting. Okay, so I'm going to make this 4 1/8 by 5 1/4. And then we need two of them, so 5 1/4. And that'll give us our two pieces for our inside. And now all we need to do is just put some glue on these and stick them in. So I am going to bring this over and down. Let's see, about like that. I'm doing that front panel first because that's on the outside where I can't really mash that down very good. So we'll do it like that, and I think that worked. And then we're going to put this one in. We'll see that little bit of holiday paper behind it, and I think that's fine. I think it just gives it a little more character, but yet we don't have pattern paper showing completely on the inside. I don't think that's what we wanted. So this is going to work. Let's put this piece down about like this, over just a little bit, and there we go. Now all I need to do is find a stamp, and I think I know the one that I want. And it is. Trying to find the one that has the beautiful sentiments on it. And it was, I think it's this one. Rejoice, rejoice, the angels sing, the Savior is born, the newborn King. I like this one too. Okay, I'm definitely going to do one of these. I really like this one, and I think it's going to look very pretty right here. We're going to pull it up to the top just a little bit, like so, and let me grab a stamp block. I think I also want to do this Merry Christmas right here. And I want to leave enough of room for signature. That's always important when we're doing our Christmas cards. Make sure you leave a little bit of room for your signing. Let's see, that's not going to take all of that, so maybe we'll do this part. And then we'll come back and get Merry Christmas after we get this part stamped. And I am going to grab that VersaFine ink again. Put my pen back in my glue. I left my pen out a while ago for probably 2 or 3 hours. I don't know what I was thinking. I just wasn't thinking. It seems like that happens a lot. Okay, let's ink the stamp up. Oop, I got it on my finger. Always pay attention to that, because if you get this ink on your fingers, you are going to transfer it to your card, and then you're going to make a mess. Now I'm going to center this about here. And press it down. I am just keeping my fingers in ink. Oh yeah, that is gorgeous. I'm going to lay those up there with that because I know they go back on that stamp set. And I'm going to grab my Merry Christmas. And we are going to stamp that right there. I got ink on my block, so I'm just wiping it off. And just like this. I'm just going to press that down and get a good image, hopefully. And now let's lift it. It could be better, but you know what? We can fix that too. So let's just grab our little pen, and I always put on my bifocals when I'm doing this because I want to make sure I don't make any little boo-boos, but I'll come in and just fill in wherever my stamp did not hit good. And a lot of times this can save you from having to re-stamp, try to get it back over top of the edge of it. And I love the way this pen fills in. Yep, that looks so much better. Okay, so we have finished our Christmas card one more time. Number 9 in our series. Now I'm not going to close this because I don't want to smear that ink yet. I want it to dry. But isn't that card gorgeous? I think it turned out beautiful. I didn't put the bow on it. The one that inspired this had a bow right here, but after I cut this ornament out and put it there with the bow, I just didn't feel like it needed it. And I thought this turned out really pretty. So I'm going to leave that card open like that so that it will dry. And I just want to thank you all for tuning in again for yet another beautiful card in our Christmas card series. And I thought this just turned out beautiful. I hope you did. I hope that you'll want to reproduce this card. And if you do, be sure to share it with us over on our Facebook group, Random Acts of Crafting by Kathy Champion. And thank you again so much for all your love and support and the wonderful comments. And I want to encourage you that if you have not subscribed to my channel, you're just somebody that stops by ever so often and looks at what I do, please take the time to hit that subscribe button. Helping me grow my channel helps me to be able to put up more content for everyone, and I would so appreciate that. You do not have to ring the bell, but if you do ring the bell that's beside the subscribe button, it will give you the option to receive notifications as you would like them. You can receive all notifications, you can just receive important notifications, so just go in and take a look at that. And again, I want to thank all of my loyal subscribers and viewers that watch everything I do. I appreciate each and every one of you so much, and thanks again for always being there for me, giving me words of encouragement. It means so much. And as I always say when I close out, God bless you, and may everything you do and say bring glory to Him. He's so worthy of our praise and our honor. And as we're reaching this time of being thankful, we are so blessed. And share your blessings with others that may not be as fortunate as you are. Share your blessings if it's no more than just your kindness, a smile, a kind word can go a long ways. We live in a world that's full of hurting people, and we need to be kind to one another. So until we craft again, God bless you all, and bye-bye.